Okay, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's evening of the 16th of March 2019. I'm Roy Potter, and this is an impromptu of the Potter Expositor. Hello, as you all come in. I went to the party tonight, as you saw, and I had a little bit to drink, not much. Um, Mingled with some people, of course, gave you that little video on the bagpipe group. Fantastic, as you could tell. I'm sorry about the distortion. It's an enclosed area, a lot of people. Acoustics aren't really that good, and I was right next to the drums, the bass drums, and the snares, and so it made it a little difficult to hear. But I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, this entire thing that's going on, I mean, everything is just crumbling all around us. And I hate to put it that way, but that's really kind of what's happening. Um, we have a little hope with this thing on bar, and maybe somehow some type of a plug on the southern border on this invasion that we're going through, and I'm calling it an invasion. Uh, and I'll touch on all of those things kind of tangentially. Like I say, it's a little late. I don't want to make this too long, but I've been thinking about this whole thing in Christchurch, and I just had to finish a few thoughts, and I'll probably cover more as I dig into it later. But I think it's all really there what we need to know, along with what I gave today, which was a very general, 35,000 foot overview. Uh, if you know who Blonde in the Belly of the Beast is, she's on YouTube. Young lady, I don't know how old, blonde, obviously, and she always has very good commentary, very good analysis. I think she's one of the more intelligent people I know. Well, I don't know her, but aware of her. She put out a video, I think it was today. So it's in, and I'll try to put the link in the description box later when I can. Blonde in the Belly of the Beast is her handle on YouTube. And the name of the video is Brenton Tarrant, Acceleration and Collapse. And it's up there now. And it's about 15 minutes long. And she has done an excellent job in analyzing the basics of this. Actually, more than the basics. She's quite amazing. And it's partly the reason why I named this video what I did about the nihilism. Everything is being done to destroy Western culture by the very people that we believed would help sustain it, help it to advance. And really they're out to destroy it. That's why these, you know, and I don't want to put any dispersions necessarily on people that want to come to the US, but they're not coming here by and large, nor to New Zealand, nor to Western Europe, for the purposes of becoming part of that culture. They're trying to destroy it, they're trying to conquer it with the help of supposed Western leaders. So, what Blonde in the Belly of the Beast does is she doesn't really get too much into the IC, the Five Eyes, as I was talking about earlier, use of this guy to get him to go down this path, which I am certain happened. She doesn't talk about that, but she looks at it from another angle, a much more human angle. And I want you to go listen to it because, in fact, what's happened is we're being forced. We're not being even asked. The people in the West, the people in the Western cultures, they're not even being asked to accept these foreign cultures. We're being forced to because they're not being asked to assimilate. We're being forced. And what she's basically saying is that this guy, and like I said, this was I'm certain, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes. that he was coached in this. He finds fault in both the conservative side, white people in particular, and also on the liberal side. And he basically attacks both, as I mentioned earlier today. Well, she breaks it down into this thing where basically what that leaves us with is we have no culture anymore. And because we have no culture, we have nothing to bind us together. We have nothing to look forward to. We have no belief in ourselves, where we come from or where we're going. It's really the next step in this whole baloney about, that we descended from apes. And I've already talked about that. The theory of evolution is in direct opposition to the second law of thermodynamics, entropy. And I've talked about that before. Those two can't exist together. So one or the other is a lie, right? So guess which one's the lie, right? So she gives this background, and she's right on. And I wanted to bring that up, that our culture here in the West is deliberately being destroyed, and it's causing people to become, first of all, nihilistic. They can't find anything to hold on to, anything to believe in. They reject it all. And the second thing is when you lose your roots, you literally lose your mind. When a tree loses its roots, its trunk and its branches and its leaves die. And this is not by accident. This is being done on purpose. And she kind of gets into that, but I wanted to push that out there to make sure that you understood that that's what's happening here. Okay. Getting along on a couple of other issues, please go watch her video. It should be a viral video. It's that good. One of the points I want to show here is that, of course, now the Attorney General for New Zealand has announced that they're going to ban all semi-automatic weapons. Well, no, none of us saw that coming, right? None of us saw that coming. The point I want to make is this. They always want to go after that, right? But what's the real problem here? The real problem is that governments want to convince you that they can secure you, that they can make you safe, and they can't. They can't. With all the things that this guy had posted in social media and other places, you're telling me that the intelligence people down there, the police, didn't have an inkling about what was going on? All the money that's poured into this? Well, the reason why is because they're not looking for bad people in the IC. They're looking to watch people like you and me and President Trump. You know what I mean? Rand Paul. I know he's kind of in the doghouse right now, but you get my drift. People that stand up for the Constitution, and I don't mean in a violent way. I don't mean like this guy did in New Zealand, where he wanted to use violence to make the statement and to get the ball rolling. I mean, we're being watched, and they spend all this effort on us when we're just saying, hey, government, do your job and support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Don't go after us. Go after the bad guys. And this guy was a bad guy, okay? But I also think he was being groomed by somebody. And the reason why is because, obviously, they ignored him. And the other thing I want to point out, it was really hard watching the video. I've been in situations like that, and I didn't want to do it, but I knew that I had to because I had to get a handle on what was happening. I wouldn't say that he was a well-trained professional assassin, but he had been trained. He did a couple of things that a well-trained assassin would not have done. Could it have been because he was full of adrenaline and those things? Sure. But a couple of things just, I looked at that, I thought, okay, well, no, somebody's trained him, somebody's got him there, but he wasn't quite ready to go all the way. But he's still trained well enough that he pulled this off. So anyway, it was very hard watching it, and I don't want to get too much into it now, but the point that I want to make about it is this. Where were the police? Did you see how long? Well, you wouldn't see because you haven't seen the video. The police never showed up. You know? So the government wants to tell you that they're going to be there to protect you, and they can't be. And they think the answer is to, of course, to ban all the weapons. Well, no, that's the exact wrong answer, because then the only people that do have the weapons are the people that, are going to pull something like this off. They're going to get them one way or another. Our southern border is porous. You can bet weapons are pouring across there like crazy, just like they did in Fast and Furious the other way. So, what is the best way for us to defend against this sort of thing? Not to prevent it necessarily, but to defend against it. And why is it that government always wants us to give up our capability to defend ourselves and trust them? Because they're not interested in us. They're not interested in protecting us. They weren't interested in protecting the people at the mosque. They aren't interested in protecting the people in the Christian churches. They aren't interested in protecting the people in the malls or the schools or wherever. They're only interested in their own power. That's all they're interested in. And everything else is a whitewash and a pretense. So, the answer is not to depend upon the government. And anybody who says that is the enemy. We have to reject everything they say when they say that we have to give up our right to self-defense because this is just too horrible that these things can happen. When the government, by its very actions or lack thereof, prove that it can't do it or refuses to. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to tell you what the answer is. Blonde in the Belly of the Beast touched on it by saying that we have to get our culture back. We have to understand that these differences in culture have to be taken into consideration, and you can't force two cultures together that are not it's going to be like oil and water. They won't mix. There's going to be a problem, and these leaders in the Western Hemisphere knew that, with the help of Soros and all those folks. Obviously, it was used to destroy us. So the answer is partly that she brings up in her video, that we have to have a reason to believe in ourselves. We have to have a bond. We have to have a future. We have to see the future. We have to understand that we have to know that our efforts aren't going to be in vain. Go watch her video. That's the first thing. The second thing is this, and I brought it up with my video on Lieutenant Colonel, retired USMC Jeff Cooper earlier this last week. I did two of them, a Second Amendment one and a little thing on Jeff Cooper just on his own. And then I did the video where I also brought in the Second Amendment internal video. It was like a little break video that was in there. And I talked about Jeff Cooper again. And his point is this, and it's well taken, and we need to consider it. No, we need to demand this. Remember what he said. It's in the picture with him holding his .45 at the ready. And there's a quote from him. And I don't have the quote ready, but I'm going to tell you basically what he said. The government can't protect you. And as a matter of fact, they say they're not, despite what President Trump says that his first duty is to protect us, to defend us. That's not true. His first duty is to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And if he does that properly, he'll defend us. That's really the issue. But Colonel Cooper said that, the government won't do it, that the criminal does not fear, and the criminal can be a criminal or a tyrant, because a tyrant's a form of a criminal. The criminal does not fear the Constitution. He doesn't fear the police. He doesn't fear the courts. So what will stop him? And Colonel Cooper said this, and you'll remember if you go back and see it. The criminal must be made to fear his victim. There is no other answer to this, ladies and gentlemen. The criminal must be made to fear his victim. Let that percolate for a little while. So with Blonde in the Belly of the Beast, understanding that we have to get our culture back and we have to have a bond, we have to have a future, we have to take care of our own first. With that information that she put out, and with the idea that the criminal, be it the street criminal or the tyrant, must be made to fear their victim. Jefferson said it another way, did he not? Chain the criminals down with the Constitution. That when the people fear the government, you have tyranny, right? When the government fears the people, you have liberty. New Zealand has taken another step into tyranny. We don't want to follow their example. Probably see you on Tuesday, okay? I might do a couple more of these. I just wanted to get this up tonight, even though I'm probably not totally coherent. Okay? All right. Out here for now.